It's been 14 years since the Final Destination series made us be more careful while living our everyday lives. So does this latest entry succeed in dishing out a whole new host of mundane scenarios to think twice about? Well, I'm definitely never looking at an MRI machine the same way again, I'll just put it like that. Final Destination Bloodlines is the 6th entry in the gory franchise, and it follows a college student who is plagued by a violent recurring nightmare and must head home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. So this is a franchise that I don't think I'd go as far as saying I'm a fan of, but they're definitely an easy bunch of movies to have a good enough time with because of those non-stop trademark kills. I mean, where else are you gonna get two girls getting roasted alive in tanning beds like a couple of rotisserie chickens? Mission Impossible? I think not. And even though I'm not obsessed with these movies, they had a lot of sleepover watching appeal when I was growing up. So when I heard that they were resurrecting the series after all this time, I was definitely interested to see what they were going to do with it. Sitting down to watch this film, I was above all else obviously hoping for some memorable deaths, but wanted to see a little bit of a new spin put on the overall concept, and Final Destination Bloodlines does enough to offer up a decently satisfying experience at the movies. Now, we obviously have to talk about the kills that are involved with this entry of the franchise, because that's basically the entire reason you're buying a ticket to see this one in the first place. The Final Destination films exist solely to shower you in deaths that will unlock new fears you didn't even know you had of everyday things around you. And they for sure get the job done here in that department. It's hard to tell if any of the kill sequences in this movie will become iconic within the franchise, like the log truck highway scene from the second film, but there's definitely a death or two in here that are going to make you look at some of life's mundane tasks in a bit of a different way. The clear standout is a situation that involves an MRI machine where they keep ratcheting up the intensity, making things go from bad to worse. It 100% got the most audible reaction from my crowd, and I'd be shocked if it doesn't go down as the moment that this particular entry in the franchise becomes known for. Let's talk about the story they decided to go with this time, because if you're walking into this one expecting some kind of an Oscar-worthy narrative, you need to get your head checked. This franchise is good for one thing and one thing only, people: setting up a simple near-death experience that acts as a jumping-off point for the gnarliest and bloodiest kills the people involved in this project can come up with. But this is also the longest Final Destination movie we've ever gotten. Most of them usually hug that 90-minute mark. Bloodlines clocks in at just under 2 hours, and after seeing the film, it definitely makes sense why that is. They actually make a couple slight additions to the lore this time around, and even though it's nothing too life-altering, I think it makes the experience feel fresh enough to warrant this franchise getting new life after so many years out of the spotlight, and not feel as repetitive as a couple of those more tedious middle entries did. There are still plenty of dumb horror movie decisions riddled throughout here, though, and given the nature of the franchise, those can sometimes be seen as a positive, but they'll definitely have you rolling your eyes from time to time too. Let's talk about the performances in this movie, because I'm starting to think that Bloodlines might actually have the most likable group of characters that we've seen in the franchise so far. More so than the majority of the earlier entries, I found myself caring a little bit about what happens to the group the plot is centered around this time, rather than only being excited about which way they're gonna get turned into a human splatter painting. Now, I'm not saying they're actually three-dimensional for once or anything, let's not get crazy, but a big reason for that is because the humor is really pulling a lot of weight in this entry, and it's as simple as, if the characters are funny, I want them to stick around longer than usual. It's also no surprise that the best Final Destination movies are the ones that feature the late great Tony Todd in them. He doesn't have a big amount of screen time here, but they dive into his backstory a little bit and provide a nice send-off for his character. Overall, guys, Final Destination Bloodlines is pretty much the exact movie you're expecting it to be from the jump. You're showing up for the kills first and foremost, and I think there are some pretty good ones in here that will satisfy fans of the franchise. It's all still very surface level and feels decently familiar, but there are a couple of tweaks to the story this time around, and it's very possible that this is the funniest entry of the series that we've gotten so far. It's not the best film of the bunch, but definitely deserves a top 3 spot. Final Destination Bloodlines gets a Sully score of 3 stars. So that's my review of the latest Final Destination movie. What do you think is your favorite film in the franchise? I think I have to go with either 1 or 5, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.